Good morning, everyone. Hello, I'm Tiffany, and I'll be sharing devotions for September 25th, and we will be reading Jeremiah chapter 36 from verse 20 to 32. So yeah, let's read together. After they put the scroll in the room of Elishama the secretary, they went to the king in the courtyard and reported everything to him. The king sent Jehudi to get the scroll, and Jehudi brought it from the room of Elishama the secretary and read it to the king and all the officials standing beside him. It was the 9th month, and the king was sitting in the winter apartment with the fire burning in the firepot in front of him. Whenever Jehudi had read 3 or 4 columns of the scroll, the king cut them off with the scribe's knife and threw them into the firepot until the entire scroll was burned in the fire. The king and all his attendants who heard all these words showed no fear, nor did they tear their clothes. Even though Elnathan, Delaiah and Gemariah urged the king not to burn the scroll, he would not listen to them. Instead, the king commanded Jerahmeel, a son of the king, Seraiah, son of Azriel, and Shelemiah, son of Abdeel, to arrest Baruch the scribe and Jeremiah the prophet. But the Lord had hidden them. After the king burned the scroll containing the words that Baruch had written at Jeremiah's dictation, the word of the Lord came to Jeremiah. Take another scroll and write on it all the words that were on the first scroll, which Jehoiakim, king of Judah, burned up. Also tell Jehoiakim, king of Judah, this is what the Lord says. You burned that scroll and said, why did you write on it that the king of Babylon will certainly come and destroy this land and cut off both man and animal from it? Therefore, this is what the Lord says about Jehoiakim, king of Judah. He will have no one to sit on the throne of David. His body will be thrown out and exposed to the heat by day and the frost by night. I will punish him and his children and his attendants for their wickedness. I will bring on them and those living in Jerusalem and the people of Judah every disaster I pronounced against them, because they have not listened. So Jeremiah took another scroll and gave it to the scribe Baruch, son of Neriah, and Jeremiah dictated. Baruch wrote on it and all the words of the scroll that Jehoiakim, king of Judah, had burned in the fire, and many similar words were added to them. So, when I first read this, I was like, whoa, a lot of names, a lot of things happening. So at that time, Jeremiah was restricted to go to the temple and told his scribe Baruch to send the message to the officials and the king, which is Jehoiakim, king of Judah. But not only did Jehoiakim ignored those warnings, he cut everything up and threw them into the fire pit. That's like saying, for example, it's a weekday, and I've been playing Among Us for the past 3 hours. And my sister walked in and went, hey, you have to go to sleep soon or else our dad is going to turn off the Wi-Fi. But not only did I ignore my sister's warning, in this case, my sister is Baruch and I'm Jehoiakim. Not only did I ignore the warnings, I went downstairs, destroyed the Wi-Fi system, and went back thinking that I can play Among Us, the game, for the whole night. But obviously, I'm gonna get in a super big trouble because that's not how things work. You're not supposed to destroy the whole Wi-Fi system. Well, obviously I'm making it dramatic and it's not based on a real story. But a lot of the times, we think that we have control over our lives and we do things our ways just to benefit ourselves. But God, in the end, if we live a life without God and the presence of God, for me, it means nothing. Because for a long time, I did a lot of things my way and just never really put God in the picture. But then lately I realized that I don't want to live that kind of life anymore, because it's actually pretty miserable without God. I used to be someone that worries a lot about life, about what people think about me, and about my future, to be honest. I used to think a lot and just worry. And I remember just being someone that like constantly just like worry about things and discourage myself. But later on, slowly, I realized God have always been there for me, and it was me who didn't reach out to Him and trust in Him. And when you have that foundation in faith, nothing in this world really matters as much, because you know that He got a plan for you and He will be there for you. And I know it's very easy to see other people talk about their experience with God, and you might wonder, why can't I have that relationship with God? Or why can't I feel God? I know how you feel, and I've been there, but it's actually very easy. It's God want us to trust in Him, to obey and follow His words, which is this, His love letter. And yeah, anyways, I can't really tell you what to do, but from my experience, trusting God and just really let go and let Jesus take the wheel, you feel so much peace and just encouraged, you know. For me, it's through worship and music, or even the people around me. But for you, it can be the Bible, it can be your family members, or even doing devotions that God might try to speak to you. And yeah, don't be scared to just be real to Him, because in the end, He is the real boss. In the story, Baruch could have just do his thing and ignore Jeremiah, but he not only obeyed what he's supposed to do, he sent the scroll to the king, which at that time can be pretty dangerous because people didn't like Jeremiah and he was basically being banned. But Baruch know who the real boss is, which is God. And are we following the right boss and the right king in our lives? Or are we just doing random things and going with the flow? I think it's something that we can ask ourselves. So yeah, I encourage you to just invite God into your life, because trust me, it's so much better to live a life with God than to live a life without Him. Because yeah, Jesus is the King.